Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Gusty winds finally calming down. Now we track the potential for winter weather. That's straight ahead.
A central Kentucky woman is being called lucky after powerful winds knocked a tree onto her car. We have reaction coming up.
We are tracking 2 crime alerts this afternoon after a pair of business break-ins in Lexington. WKYT News at 4:30 starts now.
Good afternoon. Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott reporting what a windy day across the Bluegrass.
Yeah, we have received several reports of downed trees and power outages across Lexington and the surrounding counties. Let's check in with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Yeah, winds are finally beginning to calm down. That is certainly welcome news, guys. Take you back until the 8 o'clock hour this morning when we started to pick up those higher wind gusts. Now watch as we put everything in motion. You see a lot of those gusts topping better than 50 miles per hour at times. Now those stronger winds are up into parts of the northern Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. We're still seeing gusts greater than 20 miles an hour. That's better than half, though, in some cases lower than what we were seeing a little earlier. Temperatures beginning to chill down into the 40s now across central Kentucky, still pushing the mid-60s into the southeastern corner of the state. That is as a cold front makes its way through the region. Now, throughout this evening, it is still windy, but a far cry from what we were talking about a little earlier. Low 40s will slowly transition into mid to upper 30s as we go toward the middle and latter part of the evening. Live First Alert Defender has nothing across central and eastern Kentucky, though that is your big wind maker that is currently across parts of the Great Lakes. That is getting out of town, so we will leave the gusty winds in behind us, guys, in the rearview mirror. What I'm looking at, though, for travelers coming up, the potential for a big East Coast winter storm to develop, wouldn't you know it, on the busiest travel day of the entire year, Wednesday. I'll track the impacts for Kentucky when I come back in just a matter of minutes.
Chris, thank you. Police say a Mercer County woman was lucky today. Her car was destroyed after it was hit by a tree.
Strong winds blew that tree over in Harrodsburg this morning. Our Phil Pendleton talked to the woman driving that car, who is out of the hospital and thankful that she is alive. It's our top story at 4:30.
Janice Bates was driving along Henrico Drive about 9:30 this morning. She was actually taking a shortcut, or what she hoped would be. The next thing she knew, she heard a loud noise. Police and EMS are responding. A tree had fallen on top of her car and crushed it. Now, Bates says she was taken to the hospital, but she only suffered a few cuts to the head and some bruises. Police say it's remarkable her injuries were not a lot worse. Bates says she's got some pain, but she also knows it could have been much worse.
I'm just grateful to be alive. I mean, because they said that it's a wonder if it hadn't killed me.
Bates' Nissan Altima is totaled. I was there as she went back and saw the car for the first time since the accident this morning. Her reaction coming up at 6 o'clock. But for now, in Mercer County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Very, very lucky. Police told Bates that if anyone had been riding with her, they probably would not have survived. Lexington drivers heading home tonight on Versailles Road may need to find another route home. High winds knocked tree limbs into a power line that runs across Versailles Road right beside the New Circle Road intersection. Power has been restored to that area, but they're still trying to raise the power lines back up. Fayette County Public Schools are sending some of their buses on alternate routes today because of the down power lines. Students who attend Rosa Parks Elementary, Beaumont Middle, and Dunbar High School are affected.
A crash during rush hour traffic this morning caused power outages at several homes. A car crashed into a utility pole on Loudon Avenue, causing the outage. WKYT Sean Moody talked to people living in that area who were left without power.
Well, on a normal Monday morning, I wouldn't be able to stand right here in the middle of Loudon Avenue, but after a car smashed into a utility pole, it was a little bit of a change of pace along here. This isn't what you expect to see on Loudon Avenue during the morning rush hour.
Well, usually backed up this time of day, traffic is. Ain't nothing going on now.
That's because a car smashed into a utility pole around 6:30 this morning. Power was out to several homes between Shropshire and Maple.
Sitting here on the porch, ain't no electric on, TV and everything went off.
But Robert Stone does have some cheap entertainment.
That ain't got a transformer on it either.
Robert says this isn't the first time a car has hit a pole around here. He's watched these utility crews do this a time or two.
Yeah, I could almost do it myself. I watch them so much.
But this crew has things pretty well under control themselves. They put up a new pole and had power back on by early afternoon. When cars do start coming back through here again, Robert hopes they take it easy.
They fly through here. They don't slow down. 35-mile-an-hour speed zone, they usually do about 70.
In Lexington, Sean Moody,
Yeah.
WKYT.
Traffic began moving again on Loudon early this afternoon. We are tracking the investigation into a pair of business break-ins.
The first one happened about 4 this morning at Complete Auto Repair on Palumbo Drive. Police say someone smashed their way through the front door and stole hundreds of dollars. The second burglary happened about 45 minutes later. Police say someone pried open the front door of Pepe's Mexican restaurant on Eagle View Drive. The manager says the burglar got into a register, but it was empty. They did not steal anything else. This time next year, if you own a vacant and blighted home in Lexington, you'll be paying more on your property taxes. Lexington's Commissioner of Planning put together a committee to identify homes in Lexington that are considered blighted and vacant. Right now, there are about 80 homes like that on the list.
I knew that it wasn't as serious, the thousands of vacant properties that people would say, but I had no number. I had nothing that I could really give people and say, yes, we've got some pockets that are problematic, but we don't have this. We're not Detroit.
Tonight at 6, WKYT's Miranda Combs shows us some of the worst eyesores in Lexington and how city officials are hoping raising taxes will get owners to sell it or clean up the property. A Bengals fan from Kentucky made national headlines last week when a New Orleans Saints fan intercepted a ball from Bengals tight end Jermaine Gresham that was meant for her.
Well, the two now infamous fans met up in New Orleans this weekend for a meal of beignets. The Saints fan Tony Williams has spent the last week trying to contact Barrett. When Kentucky native Krista Barrett was contacted by a Louisiana TV station, she jumped at the opportunity to meet up with him. Barrett says she's seen the criticism of Williams online and she has a message for other Bengals fans.
The past couple of days have just been so overwhelming, and I know for you as well. Yes. And I just, I've just heard so many awful, terrible things, from people who've actually come up and approached me, things you've read on the internet. And I just think it's terrible, because I know he doesn't deserve that at all.
Krista Barrett is a Versailles native who now lives in New Orleans. The Bengals sent her a signed ball along with autographed jerseys from 7 players, including Andy Dalton and A.J. Green.
Big storm system going to impact the eastern part of the country with accumulating snows just in time for Thanksgiving. We'll talk about the impact that has on Kentucky's weather when I come back in a moment.
It's an opportunity to make Christmas a merry one for children in rural Appalachia.
Our Deanne Stevens is out and about in Hamburg on how you can brighten the holidays for others. Hi, Deanne.
Good afternoon, everyone, from Meyer, where our WKYT TV family, we're shopping, and we're shopping for others, which makes us all feel pretty good, right, guys? Yeah, and it looks like they're pretty good shoppers as well. We are preparing for our Mission of Hope Christmas Drive. Chris Mossman, who is our GM at WKYT, is with us today, and this is a pretty neat thing that we're doing for others.
It is. It's very, very cool. I think the lobby on Monday the 1st is going to look fantastic. We're getting a head start and getting it loaded up, and we're asking our viewers throughout Kentucky to bring unwrapped toys to the station.
And it's not just unwrapped toys, right? We can bring coats and hats and things that a lot of kids, we probably all take for granted, but that's something that is desperately needed for others.
Absolutely. Hygiene products, coats, clothing. I know I'm buying a couple of Big Blue Nation t-shirts to make sure we get everybody indoctrinated
well, I was
properly.
going to say no red, no red.
Oh, no. I heard your comment when we walked by that Louisville rack.
Yeah.
I hope that one's on the cutting room floor.
Sorry, boss.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how it works. 1 week from today, we're giving you a whole week to go ahead and get your shopping on. You can bring all of those items to the lobby at KYT, right?
Correct. 2851 Winchester Road, just east of the interstate, heading toward Winchester, and we'll be ready and waiting for you on the 1st.
You can't miss it. It's a beautiful place, and it's going to be even prettier with all these great gifts. Amy Kidd with us, and we are also talking about some great toys. Talk about this because you've had the opportunity to be a part of this mission. Last year, I think you were in Owsley County?
That's right. I went to Owsley County, and it is such a wonderful thing to see, and unless you see it, you can't truly imagine the gratitude that these kids feel, the joy that is in their eyes when all the tables when they walk in are covered in black plastic. Then they do a big countdown, they tear off all the plastic, and there's this big and their eyes sparkle. It's fantastic to be able to give to those in need.
And you said the excitement even comes for those like hygiene items and things that we all take for granted.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I have a child, and to think time to go brush your teeth and he fusses. These kids were thrilled to death to get a toothbrush, and it's heartbreaking. Things that we truly take for granted every single day. So clothes, hygiene items, non-perishable food items, new toys, all will make such a difference for a child this holiday.
All right, so get to shopping right now and be a part of it. You can stop on here at Meijer, too, who they themselves have donated, I think, $250 for the cause.
We want to give a big shout out. Thank you to Meijer for a $250 gift card toward our efforts. Greatly appreciated.
Okay, so shopping right now. Get it done, and we will see you Monday, 2851 at our WKYT TV home on Winchester Road. We will see you there for our Christmas Mission of Hope Christmas Drive. I'm Deanne Stevens at Meijer. Back to you.
All right, Deanne, she has sent out the calls there, and you know to fill it up and fill up our lobby.
You're right. I walked by our general manager's office today and it was full of bags. Now I know where it's all going.
Now we know where it's going.
In the spirit. Way to go.
Well, the biggest stars in music were honored at the American Music Awards.
Suzanne Marquez has that and more in today's Eye on Entertainment.
It's One Direction!
British boy band One Direction was named Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards. And chart topper Taylor Swift received the Dick Clark Award for Excellence for the record-setting sales of her latest album, 1989. Fresh off hosting the AMAs, rapper Pitbull has a new single, Celebrate, from the animated feature Penguins of Madagascar. The movie's about 4 penguins who try to stop an evil octopus from destroying the world. Pitbull says he can relate.
They're around the world looking on ways to solve situations and problems that they have no clue about, and it sounds like what we do in music.
Penguins of Madagascar is in theaters Wednesday. I'm dancing solo. And it's a no-go in Fargo for Cher. The singer canceled her rescheduled concerts in the Dakotas and other remaining dates on her Dress to Kill tour. Cher is still recovering from a viral infection. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Katy Perry joining an elite group of legendary performers, including the Rolling Stones, Prince, Bruce Springsteen, and The Who.
The NFL has confirmed that Perry will headline Super Bowl 49 halftime show. The Grammy-winning singer has dominated the Billboard chart since releasing her debut album in 2008. Her 2010 album, Teenage Dream, matched Michael Jackson's previous record for most songs from a single album to hit #1 with 5. Super Bowl 49 will be played February 1st at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Arizona.
The latest Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 brought in $123 million for Lionsgate over the weekend. That is the biggest opening of the entire year, but it was the worst for the Hunger Games franchise. Animated flick Big Hero 6 came in at #2 with more than $20 million, and sci-fi epic Interstellar fell to #3 with more than $15 million.
Thanksgiving is all about the turkey. Well, here's one man who is getting paid to stuff his face with the bird.
I could hear it. You know, I was inside the house earlier today, and you get that sound outside that you just know it's a strong wind.
And I was thinking if you had any Christmas decorations up there, like 2 or 3 streets over, right, Chris Bailey?
Remember last week when we were talking about by this Monday some Santas would be down the street in a cul-de-sac? I will guarantee you some Santa Clauses are kind of down the street as of right now, maybe even Frosty. You got to go dig him out of the neighbor's yard after last night's and this morning's big windstorm. What we're left with, though, chilling temperatures that are blowing in. We're cooling it now into the mid and upper 40s across parts of central Kentucky. Nice little temperature difference, though, from the north to the south. 54 showing up into Richmond. We're actually much warmer still into far southeastern Kentucky with a lot of 60s that are showing up. That's part of the state that had some 70s earlier. That big area of low pressure continues to spin across parts of the Great Lakes. But, guys, that is moving away. It's taking the wind machine on out of town with it. We'll talk about what replaces that and maybe a touch of some wintry weather for holiday travelers. That's coming up.
All right, Chris, thank you. The state with the worst Thanksgiving, Turkey Day ice cream, and a turkey-eating champ. It is the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
think we've got it all covered there. Thanksgiving Day is quickly approaching, of course, and a new ranking is out showing which states are most likely to have a miserable Turkey Day. Real estate website Estately looked at several categories, including how likely families are to get into an argument over politics and most likely to get food poisoning. Kentucky ranked near the middle at number 21. But the Commonwealth came in first when asked about enthusiasm for Black Friday sales. If you're headed to Ohio for the holiday, you have been warned now. People living in the Buckeye State ranked as the most likely to have a bad Thanksgiving.
All right, if you just can't get enough of the turkey and stuffing this Thanksgiving, now you can also have it for dessert. An ice cream shop in Portland called Salt and Straw has whipped up 6 new Thanksgiving-themed flavors, including cranberry walnut stuffing and salted caramel Thanksgiving turkey. That turkey-flavored ice cream, by the way, is made with turkey fat and fried turkey skin. Salt and Straw will ship the ice cream for $65. I literally saw it last night on TV and watched them make it. It sounds gross, but everybody loved it.
I don't know. Turkey fat?
I know, I know.
Just give it to me. Don't tell me what's in it. I probably will eat it if it's ice cream because I love ice cream. Here's a guy you don't want to invite to your Thanksgiving Day dinner. This guy's really gross. I'm sorry. Competitive eater Joey Chestnut. He can add turkey eating champ to his many accolades. He ate 9 pounds of meat in 10 minutes, nearly doubling the old record. Chestnut is ranked the top competitive eater in the world. Stuffing his face with turkey earned him $5,000. And, I mean, does that look like fun? I mean, he's sweating, and he's just cramming it in. You're not invited to my house, Joey.
We're having Thanksgiving dinner here. Don't act like that tomorrow when we eat dinner. All right, stick with us. Here's what we're working on for you now at 5 o'clock.